Okay, heading off the shelter at 6:45. I'm heading down to just a few miles on the trail, and then I will be at Front Royal, or at least the highway to get to Front Royal, which is only a few miles on the highway. There I will probably end up getting a place to stay, as much as I dislike spending the money on it. That's the problem with being single on these trails. I have yet found anybody who wants to travel somewhere in my pace that is willing to then split the cost of a motel or something. I understand the only hostel in the area is like 30 bucks. If I'm going to spend $30 for a hostel and sleep with a bunch of noisy and ratted out people, I'd rather just have a motel room for around 60 and have the peace and quiet and enjoy myself. So I'll end up getting a resupply, which will get me to get me up to the ATC, where I can register again. How many days it is and how far it is, I keep getting conflicting results. I just talked to a hiker at the shelter this morning who's going southbound, and he said it's more like 4 or 5 days as opposed to 3 or 4 days. So I don't know. I'll figure that out once I get to town, see how things are going. If I maintain my 20 miles a day, it shouldn't take too long. Well, with that, we will continue on for our Saturday morning hike. Well, it looks like I'm early as usual. It's only 8 o'clock and I'm at 5:22. Visitor center doesn't open till 9. Not sure what I'm supposed to do now. Could hitchhike. So today's video wrap up. Spent the entire day roaming around the small town, which is spread out like, seems like all of them are anymore. Small town of Front Royal. Between trying to find resupplies, post office to mail back a couple things, find a motel that was almost affordable. Super 8 came in a little cheaper than quality, only by a couple dollars, but it was better than nothing. Problem was, it was at the other end of town, which is where all the fast food restaurants are for the most part. But there was a couple grocery stores. The prices here for resupply food, groceries, higher than other places. Things are getting more expensive. Freeze-dried food and fuel canisters are actually the same price. In fact, a little cheaper maybe. So that was nice. I've got a 4-day supply of food to get to Harper's Ferry, but it's really kind of a weird layout for the next thing. I've got all sorts of places you can detour into and eat and maybe get a resupply of that, but I just don't understand half of the, it seems to me it's just taking more time to do things that way. So I'm going to take the normal way I've been doing things, and I got 4 days supply of food with a little bit of extra, and I should hit Harper's Ferry in actually about 3 days. Fourth morning, maybe. It's hard to say. And at that point, I will register again, apparently, and get my picture taken for being a attempted thru-hiker that's made it at the unofficial halfway mark. And then I will continue on and go from there. Spent a lot of hours roaming this town because of the way things are spread out. My feet don't feel like they had any time off at all. I redid my pack shoulder supports again with a different system and see if that'll work better than the last. And let's see what else. I rinsed out my clothes as long as I was here and so on and so forth. Just typical everyday stuff that I do when I hit a town to resupply. This is also one of the reasons why it's nice to hit a motel as opposed to a hostel, because I have a lot more room to spread things out and don't have the outside noises and what have you to mess up my concentration. So anyway, I'll be heading out in the morning and hitchhike back to the starting point, or if I'm unlucky, I'll be walking it. Alright, so with that wraps up Saturday.